Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do a review of Ouran High School Host Club, a 18-volume series released by Viz. It is a shoujo series, and if you don't know, it is about Haruhi here. She is a scholarship student at a very, very prestigious rich kid's school. She's very poor, but because she had a scholarship, she's very smart. She got into the school. Um, she's looking for somewhere to study one day and goes into a room and ends up breaking a very expensive vase. She happens to go into the club room of the host club, um, which is host clubs are basically where pretty guys entertain women. Usually, it's an adult thing in Japan where it's like a business and they buy alcohol and whatever, and the men entertain them and whatnot. But these guys, these rich boys in this high school, have created a host club where they serve tea and they, entertain the female students of the school. So basically, they say to repay the debt of breaking the expensive vase that she absolutely cannot afford, she has to join the host club um, and pretend to be a boy. So yeah, it's basically just the hijinks and ridiculousness that all of these members get up to while they're, doing their thing with the host club. Now, this is a reverse harem series where there's a bunch of guys and one girl, and they all kind of like her. However, after consuming this story many, many, many times, this is the first time I've read the manga the entire way through, but I have watched the anime several times over many years, and I did read the second half of the manga where the anime leaves off. I've read that before, but I had never read the series in its entirety. After reading this, I really, really came to realize what this story is really about. And it's not necessarily about the romance. I came to realize that this is really, really about friendship and the bond between all of these boys, and then the added, um, you know, little mix of throwing Haruhi in there really unbalances the relationships, and everything kind of has to change. So the story starts out, all these boys are already friends, they're part of this club, but as you go along, you get their backstories and see how they were brought into this club and how they have since become really good friends. And then with Haruhi thrown in there, you get to see them grow more as people because these boys were all lonely and all not really good at interacting with other people, and now all of a sudden they're, you know, constantly interacting with other students and constantly hanging out with each other, and you're like, how did you go from point A to point B? And so you get that backstory. This series is really good at explaining the characters and showing who they are and how they've grown and how they continue to grow. These are high school students. They're not, you know, they're still growing every day. They're becoming who the people that they want to be, and it's just really, really fun to go along with that, on that ride with them, growing as people. And throw in the fact that they're stinking rich and can have all the time and money in the world. They get up to some pretty crazy, funny scenarios. Um, yeah, the last few volumes do have like a plot where there's a problem that they're trying to solve. It's the climax of the series, obviously. But for the most part, the rest of this series is really just funny situations that all these kids are getting into. Um, and it's just fun. It's not necessarily episodic because everything, you know, connects and it is a flowing story. But each kind of chapter is a different, like they're going to the beach this chapter, or they're going to a resort the next chapter, or they're, it's they have the sports festival or whatever. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a generic kind of high school, romance, funny thing, but it's a good one. It's one that people talk about for a reason. It's one that's many people's favorite for a reason. It's really, really good, and I loved reading this. I found myself really, really attached to this, reading this through again. This is a story that this was one of the first anime I watched. Like, it had to be like 8 or 9 years ago. I think I was 12, so it would have been 9 years ago, I guess. Um, yeah, I love this story, and I used to really hate the art, but my taste in art has changed, and I found myself actually really loving this art this time through. And the art does get better. This is volume one, and the characters look a little strange. Um, but as with most mangaka, as you go along, especially in a series that's at 18 volumes long, your style grows, um, you get more refined and learn how to really make the characters look how you want them to look. Um, so, even though I'm still not the hugest fan of Volume 1's art, as the story goes on, it's great, and I've really come to appreciate this. I'd never read this series completely before because I really hated the art when I was younger. But as I said, I've grown, and my taste in manga has branched out. So I've come to really appreciate the art. And by the last volume, it's like the art is really, really nice. The characters look really good, and it's just a great series all around. If you haven't read it before, I highly, highly recommend checking it out. Definitely buy the box set. That is the cheapest way to go. It's quite a nice box set. I do have a video of me opening it up and showing you what it includes on my channel if you want to check that out. But if you don't have any of the volumes and you're looking to get this series, I suggest just buying the box set because it's so much cheaper to do that. But yeah, if you've read this series or have any questions about it or anything like that, leave them in the comments and have a discussion with me because I love talking about manga. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching.